Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Daughter's serious illness. I research antidotes and conquer deadly illness. Today's news headline. He's not the god of medicine, he's just a father. Lin Mo, who has been reborn for a lifetime, has an IQ of up to 190. But the 5-year-old daughter has a rare genetic disease that is incurable. Lin Mo decided to personally save his daughter's life. Everyone is asking him and his daughter to accept their fate. Even ridicule. Questioning him as an ordinary person, not even a medical student, how to establish a personal laboratory to study drugs. Lin Mo uses practical actions to slap everyone in the face. I spent over 900 biological gene papers and thousands of medical books in a month and a half. Subsequently, a sterile laboratory was established to study the medicinal compound super-CoA and overcome genetic defects. Daughter, you have recovered. The matter was exposed. The medical community is shaking, the world is in uproar. Several years later. Lin Mo, with the following titles. The father of human genes. The world's richest person. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Taking a risk to make homemade drugs, still watching. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry. Neurodegeneration with cerebral iron deposition type 6, COSY gene mutation, currently without a cure drug. Afterwards, the child's intelligence will gradually decline, and they will not be able to take care of themselves, eventually becoming an immovable vegetable. The doctor's bitter voice echoed in his mind. Lin Mo dragged his numb body out of the gate of Wangjing Union Medical College Hospital. Big hands holding small hands. My gaze drooped as I looked at my 4-year-old daughter. That was a delicate fairy tale princess-like face, with watery and translucent big eyes, delicate eyebrows, a delicate cheong nose, and thin cherry lips like cicada wings. Not only does it look pink and jade carved, but it also looks exceptionally beautiful when worn. The light blue lace skirt, white stockings, and black leather shoes look particularly elegant. But it's just such a cute and beautiful little girl. A few minutes ago, he was sentenced to death by the doctor. Nini, let's go home. Lin Mo squatted down and tidied up Nini's collar. Nini stood quietly beside Lin Mo. She doesn't cry, laugh, argue, or make a fuss. Just quietly looking up at the sky. It seems like the fairy of the 9 heavens. Come to the mortal world to cross the tribulation. Scenes flashed through Lin Mo's mind. 4 years ago, Nini was born. That night, the sea and stars shone brightly. Unlike most newborns, they cry loudly when they are born. Nini lay silently in her swaddling clothes. Not long after, Nini's eyes were full of radiance, with autumn waves in her eyes, her eyebrows clustered in the spring mountains, and her skin was moist. Relatives, friends, everyone loves and praises Nini as the most beautiful baby girl they have ever seen. 6 months ago. Lin Mo noticed that Nini's development was delayed, she never knew how to cry, had no strength in her hands, and even appeared dull. Take it to the hospital for examination on the same day. Confirm that Nini is suffering from a rare disease. Spiritual degenerative disease with cerebral iron deposition type 6 genetic disease. This is a genetic cure with no cure. The doctor is at a loss. Lin Mo, who was deeply saddened, had no choice but to take care of his child and return home first. At 1.5 years old. Nini's condition became increasingly severe and she was diagnosed with severe autism. She has an infatuated expression and a fixed gaze. Still unable to speak, even Lin Mo, who accompanies him day and night, would not meet his gaze. I haven't even shouted, Dad, or Mom. I'm 2 years old now. Nini has always lived in a silent world, completely unaware of the outside world. In order to take better care of my daughter. Lin Mo resigned from his job as a real estate agent. And his wife Han Yue, upon seeing the child's appearance, completely collapsed. Originally, there are really two people in this world who cannot be together. Han Yue hugged Lin Mo and burst into tears. I'm sorry. On the eve of Nini's 2-year-old birthday, Han Yue left 3 words and left with determination. Lin Mo has no sadness. He just hugged Nini and said softly, Nini, don't be afraid, there's also Daddy. Nini is 4 years old. Lin Mo is both a father and a mother, with a few extra strands of white hair. It's been 4 years. Nini has never called out to Lin Mo, Dad. Until that day. Lin Mo brought back the takeout and found Nini huddled in the corner of the living room wall. Due to a sudden power outage, the room was shrouded in darkness. Lin Mo's heart tightened and quickly walked towards the child. A pair of small hands tightly grasped Lin Mo's hem. In the darkness. Nini, weak and lonely, with tears in her eyes and her mouth slightly open, seemed to unconsciously shout, Baba. Lin Mo's mind exploded. It's been 4 years. Nini, the first time you called out the sound of Dad so clearly, it may just be an unconscious pronunciation for you. But for Dad, these 2 words are really precious. Lin Mo's face was filled with tears. Nini is about to turn 5. Lin Mo, who never gave up, embarked on a medical journey to Wangjing with Nini and the borrowed money. Along the way, Lin Mo keeps looking forward and longing. Several years have passed, and medicine is changing. Perhaps Nini's illness has been saved. But the merciless reality destroyed his last glimmer of hope. Lin Mo's memory was pulled back to reality. Returning to the high-speed train in Ninghai, he took off his coat and draped it over Nini, who had fallen asleep lightly. Is this your daughter? She looks so beautiful. Across from her, a quiet and elegant woman with long hair stared straight at Nini, admiring her for a long time. Lin Mo did not respond. This made Shen Nanshu feel a bit embarrassed. A few minutes later, she took out her phone and lightly activated her teeth. Hello teacher. Yes, I am about to arrive in Ninghai. I have already joined the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics, and my next research direction will be in the field of targeted drugs in the field of neurology. About 10 minutes later, Shen Nanshu hung up the phone. Are you a pharmaceutical expert studying neurological disorders? Lin Mo couldn't wait to inquire. Yes. Shen Nanshu frowned lightly, slightly displeased. After all, no one likes to be overheard in their conversations. I'm sorry I overheard your call. Lin Mo's voice was hoarse. Why, NBI, God-grade degenerative disease, has no cure, not even targeted drugs. NBA. Shen Nanshu was stunned for a moment. Suddenly understanding something, she glanced at the child beside Lin Mo, her beautiful eyes wide open. Your child is. Shen Nanshu's heart trembled. Lin Mo nodded reluctantly and said, COSY gene mutation, brain iron deposition. For a long time. Shen Nanshu lowered her head and whispered, this disease is rare, and only 1.3 people in a million people have a chance of getting it. In China, there are less than 1,000 patients with NBIA. For medical pharmaceutical companies, the rare disease market is limited and they do not make money, so few pharmaceutical companies are willing to develop and produce corresponding targeted therapeutic drugs. I'm sorry. She is bitter yet powerless. Upon hearing this, Lin Mo trembled all over. I see. Lin Mo murmured expressionlessly. 10 minutes later, the high-speed train arrived in Ninghai. Lin Mo picked up Nini and turned around to leave. The sunset dragged his back long. Looking at the lonely and desolate figure, Shen Nanshu's expression was complex. And Lin Mo. holding Nini in one hand and carrying luggage in the other. After a moment of confusion in my mind, Lin Mo returned home. Watching Nini pounce on the warm bed for the first time, and then fall asleep with sweetness. Lin Mo lifted his crimson eyes. Rare diseases do not make money, and pharmaceutical companies are unwilling to invest financial and material resources in targeted research and development work. So, can children only wait helplessly for the judgment of fate? No, I'm not convinced. At this moment, a crazy idea surged in Lin Mo's mind. To save Nini, there's only one way left. That's study your own antidote. Are you taking risks and researching drugs for your own treatment, or are you watching Nini? I choose the former. Amidst murmurs, Lin Mo raised his eyes and made a resolute decision. In fact, Lin Mo has a secret. He is a patient with hypermemory. The so-called hyperamnesia is characterized by exceptional memory. This allows Lin Mo to remember everything and every person she encounters after the age of 3. Not only is Lin Mo's memory exceptional, but also his intelligence is extremely high. And this is the confidence that made Lin Mo burst out with such crazy ideas at this moment. Although I only have a high school education. But Lin Mo believes. The heavens do not disappoint those who have a heart. And he's not going to fight. Nini has no hope anymore. Think of doing it. On the same day, Lin Mo searched extensively online for information about NBIA6 disease. Also, search for personal research on drugs both domestically and internationally. But there are basically no individual examples to refer to. However, Lin Mo still cleared his mind for a while. Firstly, it is difficult to develop drugs on one's own. At the very least, one needs to have relevant pharmaceutical knowledge, let alone incurable diseases like Nini that involve genes. The second point. There needs to be a laboratory in order for individuals to develop drugs. The third point. Is it legal and compliant? But Lin Mo no longer cares. He flipped through relevant legal provisions and finally came up with a way to avoid it. Homemade medicine. It must be illegal. But to be called a drug, according to relevant guidelines, it must first have a batch number that has been approved for marketing and can be called a drug. But currently in China, there are no relevant drugs for treating neurodegenerative diseases. So, can we call it a compound for now? Self-made medicinal-grade compounds, as long as they are not used by others and cause personal harm, are barely illegal. As for the rest, Nini can't wait anymore. Lin Mo was forced to a dead end. He is just a father who wants to save his child. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. In Chapter 2, I spent a month and a half reading over 900 papers. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Ninghai. Changning District, Lushu Street. On the third floor of an old apartment, Lin Mo was staying up late to study while eating mantou to satisfy his hunger. In just half a month, Lin Mo read a large number of books. From the beginning of basic medicine to the current professional level textbooks. Synthetic genomics, biochemistry and molecular biology, medical cell biology relying on hypermemory, Lin Mo carefully studied. In the living room, Nini sat quietly holding a doll. From time to time, stretch out your little hand and bite it. And all of this is a manifestation of Nini's divine-grade degenerative disease. She can't speak. I won't act spoiled. Life cannot be taken care of by oneself. But she will always be like a beautiful porcelain doll. From a distance, it makes people love and cherish it immensely. Lin Mo walked over and squatted down to pick up Nini. Nini, be good. Lin Mo gave a long smile with gentle eyes and said, let Dad charge up. Nini doesn't struggle either. I just blinked my eyes quietly. Lin Mo held Nini and wanted to cry. This little girl is as soft as a bone and still carries a milky fragrance, as if embracing the happiness of the whole world. Although this happiness is heavy. But Lin Mo never regretted it. Nini, it's time to go to bed. Lin Mo smiled slightly, helped Nini take a shower, blew her hair, changed into comfortable pajamas, and carried her to the bedside. This will. Seemingly not wanting to sleep, Nini began to cry. She didn't understand either, she just blinked and danced her hands around. Lin Mo, still patiently coaxing Nini. You give her sugar. She just bites and chews, and doesn't understand the sweetness of sugar. She is like a fairy who does not indulge in worldly pleasures. After finally coaxing Nini to sleep, Lin Mo sat back at the desk. Lin Mo's eyes were red, and staying up late for a long time put unimaginable pressure on his body. But every time, Lin Mo gritted his teeth and persisted. I drank a can of Red Bull. Lin Mo began to study online downloads of papers related to NBIA diseases, genetic drugs, human biology, and more. 1.5 months later. Lin Mo, with astonishing perseverance, chewed over 900 papers. He only has a high school education, and when faced with complex English professional terms, Lin Mo uses translation software to translate one medical term into another. Fortunately, he has amnesia. Let him memorize all the papers by heart. But in fact, Lin Mo's IQ is also not low. When Lin Mo was in high school, he suffered greatly from the pain of amnesia. In order to organize the overwhelming and complex memories, Lin Mo spent a full 2 years self-learning, as if opening up a memory storage area in his own brain. Put aside useless and complicated memories. Useful memories belong to the other side. But even so, Lin Mo's brain is like a high-speed machine, unable to rest for a moment. So Lin Mo did not choose to use his abilities to achieve greater success in his academic career. He just wants to be an ordinary person. But now, my daughter is seriously ill. Lin Mo was forced to become Superman. There is no way out, we can only grit our teeth and rush forward. 2 months later, Lin Mo stood in front of a door called the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics. His gaze, clear and firm. In 2 months, I have learned relevant knowledge and gained some insights. But treating Nini's illness is not enough. I need to synthesize drugs myself, I need to have a precise understanding of every experimental instrument, I need. Lin Mo murmured and murmured. Then without hesitation, I walked into the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics. Apply to become a proud candidate. Cleaners. Yes. In order to observe genetic testing and related instruments up close, Lin Mo brought his parents back from their hometown and requested them to take care of Nini for a period of time. I entered the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics and became a cleaner. Only in this way can he have the opportunity to interact with and observe the work of the laboratory. Accumulate experience. 3 days later, Shen Nanshu walked out of the sterile laboratory and took off her white coat, taking a long sigh of relief. Nanshu, your team should have made good progress in developing targeted drugs for Alzheimer's disease, right? Colleague Li Jianxiu solemnly inquired. Conquering Alzheimer's disease, senile dementia, is still a long way off. Shen Nanshu smiled bitterly. After disinfecting the bathroom and taking a shower, Shen Nanshu changed her clothes and walked out, ready to leave work. On the aisle, a young man in his 30s is bending down to clean the floor. Hey! When passing by the cleaner, Shen Nanshu caught a glimpse of the remaining light and instantly fell back. It's you. Shen Nanshu was shocked and lost her voice. Although the other party was wearing a mask, Shen Nanshu still recognized Lin Mo at a glance. Lin Mo raised his eyes and also recognized Shen Nanshu. Even because of his hyperpneumonia, he still remembered that 2.5 months ago, Shen Nanshu painted the mouth red, just like today's. Why are you here? At this moment, Shen Nanshu couldn't even dream that Lin Mo would appear here. Lin Mo naturally wouldn't tell her the reason. He just whispered, I need a job. Shen Nanshu nodded. When Shen Nanshu thought of the beautiful little girl who looked like a porcelain doll, she couldn't help but feel extremely sorry. How is your daughter? Shen Nanshu asked gently. Her name is Nini. After a long silence, Lin Mo nodded and said, she's very good. Shen Nanshu hesitated for a moment and said, I know a professor of neuroscience, maybe. No need, thank you. Lin Mo shook his head. Because he knows that there has been no significant research and development progress in the field of degenerative diseases, both domestically and internationally. Shen Nanshu understood Lin Mo's answer. Suddenly feeling extremely discouraged. There is still some helplessness. My name is Shen Nanshu. She gritted her teeth gently. Lin Mo. The two nodded and turned around to leave. Just a few seconds later, Shen Nanshu quickly turned her head, only to find that Lin Mo's figure had disappeared in the hallway. He has changed so much. Shen Nanshu trembled and murmured softly. Previously, Lin Mo, although also dusty, had sharp eyebrows and starry eyes, and a tall and upright body. See him again now. The body is still straight, but there are strands of white hair at the temples. What happened, made him so? Poor parents' hearts all over the world. Shen Nanshu let out a gentle sigh. Another half-month has passed. Every time Shen Nanshu finishes her experiment, she instinctively glances down the hallway. Just today. I didn't see that figure. For 3 consecutive days. Shen Nanshu didn't even see Lin Mo. This makes her a bit worried. After class this day, Shen Nanshu walked towards the logistics department of the research institute and went straight to the supervisor, asking, where is Lin Mo? Ah, it's expert Shen. The logistics supervisor's eyes lit up, warmly welcomed him, and then exclaimed in surprise, does expert Shen know Lin Mo? Lin Mo resigned a few days ago, he said hastily as he saw the other person's expression on his face, resignation. Shen Nanshu hesitated for a moment and then asked, did he say anything before leaving? No. The logistics supervisor shook his head and then remembered something. However, before leaving, he entrusted the logistics department to book a batch of zebrafish for him. Zebrafish. Shen Nanshu stood still in place. Zebrafish has a high homology of up to 85% with human genes, and its signaling pathway is basically similar to that of humans. It is usually used as an experimental subject in scientific research. Lin Mo, why order a batch of zebrafish? Shen Nanshu gradually widened her beautiful eyes. On the other side. After 3 months, Lin Mo finally got everything ready. First step. We need to build a personal laboratory. But building a laboratory requires a considerable amount of funding. Lin Mo decided to sell the house. Although the land price in Ninghai is expensive, Lin Mo's house is old and has an area of less than 50 square meters. In the end, Lin Mo received the sale price of 1.8 million yuan. He transferred this money, divided into 3 parts. Among them, 600,000 yuan will be used to repay the money borrowed from family and friends to treat Nini's illness. 300,000, it is stored under the name of the parents, in case of any unforeseen circumstances, and kept as a retirement home for the parents. There are still 900,000 left. As funding for building laboratories and developing self-developed drugs. Finally, Lin Mo found his parents and informed them of his decision. Dad, Mom. I plan to research drugs myself and treat Nini's illness. Lin Mo paused every word. What? Upon hearing his son's words, Lin Guoqiang was stunned. Lin's mother's brain was blank, and she instinctively covered her mouth, tears streaming from her eyes. Son, are you crazy? Lin Guoqiang growled in an incomprehensible voice, you've lost your sanity and don't know what you're doing. An ordinary person. Self-developed drugs. How could it be? Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. After 106 trials in Chapter 3, Super Koei was born. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Looking at his father's urgent expression, Lin Mo shook his head and said, Dad, this is the only way. Crazy, you can't do it. Lin Guoqiang gritted his teeth and said, if anything unexpected happens, you'll have to pay for it yourself. Xiaoma, go ahead and I'll persuade your dad. Mom believes you. Mother's tears streamed down her face. Others do not understand. How could Lin Mo not know? What a price did the son pay to treat his granddaughter's illness? How effective is it to stimulate nerves only by a little healthcare products and acupuncture and moxibustion without therapeutic drugs? My granddaughter Nini's illness will only drag on day by day, and in the end, but son, how much you love Nini. So since there is no other way. That's the last move. Bite your teeth, mix with blood, and charge forward. Dad, Mom, take care of yourself. Lin Mo bowed to his parents, tears welling up in his eyes, and left cruelly. 2 days later. Lin Yuan rented a yard in the suburbs. The courtyard is an independent one-story building with 3 rooms and an empty courtyard. The left room is the bedroom of the father and daughter, separated by a kitchen and bathroom in the middle, while the right room is planned by Lin Mo to be used as a laboratory. Originally, my mother suggested helping Lin Mo take Nini. But due to the unclear prospects of synthesizing medicinal compounds, Lin Mo refused his mother's kindness in order to prevent his parents from getting involved in this matter. Every day. In addition to accompanying Nini, Lin Mo also utilized his super-strong memory to conduct simulation research in his brain. According to Mendelian inheritance rules, Nini inherited the COSY gene that my wife and I had defects in. The pathological manifestation is the accumulation of iron in the pallidum and substantia nigra of the brain, which affects the normal function of nerves. This accumulation of iron can even be observed using MRI imaging, known as tiger's eye days. COSY, the corresponding protein is called a bifunctional CoA synthase, which belongs to an enzyme of CoA. If there is a problem with the COSY gene, the body cannot synthesize it, or cannot synthesize enough coenzyme A, which leads to a series of problems such as delayed development, intellectual decline, inability to speak, and even autism in Nini. Lin Mo murmured to himself. The closest research currently conducted abroad is to extract the COSY gene from zebrafish, which enables zebrafish to exhibit various problems during embryonic development and to some extent simulates human conditions. If there is a COSY gene defect, there will be a phenomenon of small head in the mother's body, with a smaller head circumference. After injecting synthetic coenzyme A into zebrafish, the remedial effect is significant. So, synthesizing coenzyme A is currently the closest research path to targeting COSY gene defects. Lin Mo's gaze was deep and solemn. Although zebrafish also have the COSY gene, zebrafish and humans are far apart. Even if coenzyme A is effective, a large number of experiments must be conducted before medication can be administered to humans. At present, it is necessary to synthesize coenzyme A that has a remedial effect on COSY gene defects. Lin Mo took a deep breath. We have set the first step plan for self-developed drugs. The next days. Lin Mo orders various scientific research instruments online. Of course. He doesn't have any spare money to purchase such large, professional and advanced equipment. Only the cheapest and most suitable equipment can be ordered. Second-hand ones are also acceptable. Then, according to the requirements of the Huaxia Pharmacopoeia, disinfect the laboratory to achieve environmental cleanliness. Not big or small, in a rudimentary laboratory of about 6 square meters. Sterilize the air with acetic acid. Ensure that both airborne settling bacteria and planktonic bacteria meet the qualified standards for inspection. Next, it is to order the first batch of medicinal raw materials for synthesizing coenzyme A. This day, Lin Mo put on a clean and dust-free isolation suit and entered the small experiment he built, starting his first research on the COSY gene. Firstly, it is necessary to artificially prepare coenzyme A. Lin Mo used a synthesis process for coenzyme A that can be found online. It is divided into 6 parts. Microbial fermentation, enzymatic synthesis, macroporous resin adsorption, cuprous oxide purification, dextrin gel chromatography and reduction precipitation. For Lin Mo, the first preparation of coenzyme A failed in the microbial fermentation process. But he didn't give up and continued to experiment. The second time. The third time. The 6th time. Lin Mo successfully prepared coenzyme A. Subsequently, through the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics, the ordered zebrafish embryos and juveniles began to undergo experiments for coenzyme A injection. On the day of May 30th. Under the microscope, Lin Mo's eyes lit up slightly. For the 3 specimens in front of us. 1. Zebrafish. 2. Zebrafish without COSY gene. 3. Zebrafish without COSY gene, but injected with coenzyme A. He found that zebrafish number 3 had indeed achieved a good remedial effect after being injected with coenzyme A. This is like giving Lin Mo a shot of adrenaline. Continue the experiment. 2 months later, on July 26. After conducting extensive experiments on the COSY gene, Lin Mo finally successfully prepared a novel coenzyme A. He named it evolutionary CoA. This is a new type of coenzyme A, theoretically filling the gap in the medical field. In subsequent zebrafish experiments, this evolutionary coenzyme A also confirmed its significant therapeutic effect. And at this moment, Nini's condition has not improved at all. During this period, Lin Mo joined a group of patients who were also COSY subtypes. He named himself Muron, and then, with the introduction of the patient's family, he carried out a series of oral medication treatments for Nini's condition. For example, taking compound levodopa, bactamine, and so on. Unfortunately, none of them had any effect. In the patient group, Lin Mo confessed to building his own personal laboratory and developing his own drugs. Group friend, Gao Shan. Brother. I don't know what to say, I can only say you're awesome. Offering of love. It's too crazy. Researching drugs on your own, how could an ordinary person achieve it? Yaya's old mother. What kind of despair this is, we all empathize with it. I only hope that you can succeed silently. All patients and their families. Silent, with the expectations of all of us, let's go. In reality, Nini's condition has become even more severe. From the past, there was no crying or fussing. Up to now, sometimes crying and sometimes quiet. Lin Mo wanted to take her out to play, but Nini had no reaction. Previously, as long as Nini was pulled towards the door, she would understand. This was when her father wanted to take her out to play. Occasionally, a smile will appear. But now Nini won't show any happy or unhappy expressions. In the past 6 months, Nini spends a long part of her 24 hours a day either daydreaming or sleeping soundly. This makes Lin Mo's mood particularly heart-wrenching. He knows that Nini can't wait too long. And now, in front of Lin Mo, there is only one path. Develop your own medication as soon as possible. For Nini, find a glimmer of vitality. 6 months later. November 26th. There are 30.7 days left until Nini's 5th birthday. In a rudimentary laboratory. Lin Mo gritted his teeth and slowly looked up. In front of me. A brand new CoA injection appeared in his palm. After 6 months and 106 trials. Lin Mo has discovered a novel CoA factor. Through the combination of multiple molecules, based on the evolution of type 2 coenzyme A, Lin Mo himself has developed a new type of coenzyme A. He named it Super CoA. Through experiments on zebrafish and crab-eating monkeys, Lin Mo preliminarily evaluated that Super CoA has a certain improvement effect on the COSY subtype gene disease. If this news spreads, it will shake the entire medical community. A young man with only a high school education. Through self-learning, self-building laboratories and instruments, researching and synthesizing pharmaceutical-grade compounds, a brand new super coenzyme A has been developed. Even targeting COSY gene defects has a precise therapeutic effect. What a miracle this is! In a genetic research team, at least 10 expert-level researchers need to be deployed, and it will take several months or even years to achieve this result. Even, there may be no progress. And now, Lin Mo did it. On the day when Super CoA was born. A rudimentary laboratory. No one celebrates for him, cheer for him. No one knows that in the history of the medical community, a miraculous day has emerged. Lin Mo. Still bending down. Continue, conducting experiments. 3 days later. Lin Mo walked out of the examination room at Ninghai First Hospital. After returning home, Lin Mo walked into the laboratory and took out a super CoA injection from the low-temperature box. At this point, Lin Mo's body trembled, revealing a hint of entanglement. A self-developed drug that lasted for 6 months. Since the birth of evolutionary type 2 CoA, Lin Mo injected himself with CoA for the first time. Yes. In order to verify the safety of coenzyme A, Lin Mo gambled his life. He tested the medicine with his own body. The left and right arms are filled with small needle holes for intravenous infusion. Fortunately, ordinary people also have a need for coenzyme A. Therefore, Lin Mo did not experience any physical discomfort for a period of time after the injection of coenzyme A. And 3 days ago, Lin Mo was injected with a new super coenzyme A. After 3 days of observation, Lin Mo confirmed that there was no discomfort in his body. At the same time, in order to obtain accurate information, Lin Mo went to the hospital for a comprehensive biochemical examination. Final inspection result. It also confirms that Lin Mo's body is healthy. Except for some brain cells that are too active. Should I give Nini medication? Lin Mo's voice trembled. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 4. Baba, don't cry. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Lin Mo walked out of the rudimentary laboratory and came to the bedroom. Nini lay quietly in bed. Her father's arrival did not attract any attention from her. A few hours ago, Lin Mo turned on the TV for Nini, playing cartoons of cats and mice. This animated film was once Nini's favorite, and when she saw some scenes, Nini's pupils and limbs would change with the plot. Now, Nini has no interest at all. She only occasionally glanced at the cartoons and then lay on the bed, or unconsciously walked up and down. On the small coffee table, there is a beautiful small cake placed. But Nini didn't even move. Because without Lin Mo feeding her, Nini didn't even understand what hunger was. Watching Nini remain silent and dazed. Lin Mo's nose is sore. He trembled and lifted the super CoA injection. Nini. Be good. After countless struggles, Lin Mo chose to give Nini the first injection of super coe. When the injection is administered intravenously and enters Nini's body, Lin Mo seemed to have exhausted all his strength. Lying on the ground. Not being forced to a dead end. Who would do this? Lin Mo was venting his almost collapsing emotions in his heart. Then he gritted his teeth, mustered up courage, and looked at his daughter in front of him, blinking blankly. Endless nervousness in my heart. Praying for all the gods in the world. Nini. My daughter. Make sure to get better. Lin Mo's face was filled with tears. Every hour. Lin Mo is nervously following Nini. Meanwhile, use some commercially available medical instruments to record Nini's heartbeat, physical signs, and so on. At this moment, Lin Mo is very scared. Although he has prepared everything, predicted, and determined the safety of super coe with precise scientific data. But if it weren't for being desperate, how could he let Nini use her self-developed medication? Fortunately, after the first injection of super coe, Nini did not show any discomfort. One day later, Lin Mo is feeding Nini food. Over the years, under his patient guidance, Nini has barely learned to eat with a spoon. The premise is to help Nini scoop up the food, and she will put it in her mouth one by one. Today, Lin Mo stewed Nini with carrots and beef, as well as various nutritious vegetarian dishes. Nini, eat more. Lin Mo said happily. Nini took a few bites of beef and happily chewed it. While patting her little hands, Lin Merton became even more excited. Intuition tells him that super coe is useful. 2 days later, Lin Mo took Nini to the hospital and underwent a set of biochemical tests. There has been no change in the condition. Nini doesn't feel any discomfort in her body either. But Lin Mo, who accompanied Nini day and night, still sensed a slight transformation in Nini. Nini's eyes gradually lit up. Dynamic light. Lin Mo noticed that Nini was occasionally attracted by external movements. For example, a magpie flies by outside the window. Nini's gaze will quietly change. Alternatively, when turning on the TV and playing cartoons, Nini's time in front of the TV also began to grow. A small change. For Lin Mo, it's all good. Super coe, definitely useful. Lin Mo's confidence greatly increased. 1 week later, Lin Mo prepared several super coe once again, and then continued to administer Nini according to the plan of intravenous infusion every 3 days. 30 days later, Lin Mo injected Nini with super coe for the 11th time. Just like before. After injecting Nini with super coe, Lin Mo gently placed her daughter on the bed. Nini, Dad's out to work. You just lie down for a while. Lin Mo smiled and whispered, placing a baby bear doll next to Nini. Nini saw the baby bear. My eyes lit up. She seemed to be holding the little bear happily, her eyes rolling back and forth. Dad, let's go. Lin Mo smiled and turned around to leave. He now wishes to break himself into hundreds of clones to use. I have to take care of Nini and work part-time to deliver takeout to make money to support my family. Of course, more time was spent in the laboratory. 2 hours later, Lin Mo ran a few takeout orders and went home. Opening the door, Lin Mo saw Nini lying quietly on the bed, feeling that all the fatigue had dissipated. Nini, it's time to get up and take some medicine. Lin Mo walked over with a smile. As usual. Although Nini couldn't understand what Lin Mo was saying, she would either move her body, continue lying down, or open her eyes. After all, little angels also rely on bed chi. At this time, Lin Mo walked over to his daughter and pushed her a few times, but Nini remained motionless. Boom. Lin Mo's face suddenly turned pale. Next second, Lin Mo was so scared that his hands and feet were cold. He shouted loudly, "Nini, wake up quickly." "No. Nini, don't scare Dad." Lin Mo, whose eyes were about to crack, touched Nini's breathing and found that she was still breathing. Nini, on the other hand, was extremely hot and had gone into a coma. "Nini." Lin Mo shouted and without saying a word, picked up Nini and ran outside. On the one hand, she was extremely worried and resentful of herself. "It's all my dad's fault. Dad shouldn't have gone out, shouldn't have." Lin Mo gritted his teeth, tears streaming down his face, holding on to his weak figure and running towards the nearby hospital. After arriving at the hospital, the doctor came to observe as soon as possible. "What's going on?" the other person asked. "My daughter has neurodegenerative diseases." Lin Mo's face was pale, just murmuring repeatedly. The doctor quickly checked and confirmed that there were still vital signs. Then, he looked at the child's condition and said, "No, the equipment and facilities here cannot keep up. We will send him to the first hospital in the city immediately." The ambulance roared away. Half an hour later. Ninghai First People's Hospital. Emergency Department. Nini was pushed into the ICU ward. Lin Mo was about to collapse, his eyes were about to crack, his face turned red, and he collapsed to the ground feeling dejected and powerless. "It's impossible, it won't be like this. All the data can withstand scrutiny, and there were no adverse reactions after 11 intravenous infusions." Tiger's eyes expression has significantly weakened. Lin Mo hugged his head with both hands and curled up into a ball. In about 10 minutes. Several white coats walked out and frowned, saying, "The patient is continuously unconscious, thinking unconsciously, and has a noticeable fever." Take a glance at each other. The attending Dr. Zhang Xiaoyang frowned and said, "The patient is a neurodegenerative disease patient, and no lesions have been found so far. Is it because there are other problems? The patient's family is outside, why don't you ask him to take a look?" Several doctors discussed and looked at Lin Mo. And Lin Mo, at this moment, with unknown strength, rushed towards the doctor and urgently said, "Doctor, how is my daughter? She is still in a coma, and we have conducted various examinations on her. Except for her body being hot, there are no problems. But the patient still fell into a coma." Professor Zhang Xiaoyang frowned and looked at Lin Mo, asking, "What's going on? Did the child eat anything?" A few seconds later. Lin Mo's body trembled heavily, gritted his teeth, and took out a super Coa injection from his pocket. "I injected the child with this." Lin Mo gritted his teeth as if using all his strength. "What is this?" Professor Zhang Xiaoyang took a look and saw that there was no trademark or medical batch number on the injection bottle, and his face instantly changed. As soon as the voice was raised, he lost his voice and rebuked, "Where did it come from? I developed it myself." Lin Mo burst into tears and said, "Before the child had an accident, I hit her with this." "What?" Confused. "Absurdity." I heard Lin Mo answer. In the hallway in front of the ICU ward, several doctors were stunned and collectively lost their voices. Professor Zhang Xiaoyang's face suddenly turned red and his eyes widened, saying, "How can you be someone else's father? Do you research drugs yourself to inject your daughter? Give your child unapproved medication, You're wasting your life." Professor Zhang was so angry that he cursed loudly, wishing to slap Lin Mo on the head. "She's still so young, How could you be so willing?" Everyone was also shocked and roared collectively. Lin Mo didn't give any explanation, he just stood there dumbfounded. "Hey!" Professor Zhang helped his eyes and exclaimed urgently, "I will send it for pharmacological analysis right away. I hope there is enough time." Following the nurse on the side, he shouted fiercely, "Call the police. The little nurse turned pale and quickly picked up the phone. And all of this? Lin Mo seems to have never heard of it. He just bowed deeply to Professor Zhang Xiaoyang and other doctors, tears streaming down his face. Please, help the child. You're confused. Zhang Xiaoyang sighed and turned to enter the emergency room. 15 minutes later. 2 law enforcement officers rushed to the scene. What's going on? Qin Dong asked with a flickering light. It's him. The little nurse pointed at Lin Mo, who was standing still, and said indignantly, this parent is too absurd. His daughter has a terminal illness, and he actually developed his own medicine and injected the child. The child is currently being rescued in the emergency room. What? Qin Dong has been a police officer for 20 years, and this is the first time he has encountered such a case. Especially when Qin Dong heard that the little girl was only 5 years old, his face turned cold and he walked up to Lin Mo. Take out the handcuffs and handcuff Lin Mo. At the same time, the voice said coldly, as a parent, how can you take action? At this point, Qin Dong felt in his heart that this was a tragedy. My daughter is terminally ill. Father is powerless, so, this is first-hand, he dare not think further. I just feel angry and frustrated, unable to understand. No matter what the reason is, you can't do this. Qin Dong gritted his teeth and said, if your daughter has an accident, you will have to go to prison for at least 10 years. Lin Mo is still stunned. No rebuttal was made. Tears flowing all over the face. What should I do? Meanwhile, Xiaoli sighed on the side. The child is still being rescued. First, handcuff him back to the station. Upon hearing these words, Lin Mo suddenly regained consciousness and said anxiously, Officer, I beg you to let me stay here with Nini. I need to wait for Nini to wake up. Do you now know how to cherish children? Qin Dong glared at him and said coldly, rules are rules. Ding. At this moment, the door of the emergency room suddenly opened. Professor Zhang Xiaoyang and several nurses walked out with a hospital bed. Zhang Xiaoyang's face was filled with surprise and a hint of confusion. Nini. Lin Mo rushed over excitedly. Just a glance. Lin Mo breathed a long sigh of relief. Move the hospital bed. Nini slowly opened her beautiful eyes, her innocent and lovely face moving like a porcelain doll. Doctor, is this? Qin Dong walked over and asked. It's so strange. Zhang Xiaoyang murmured incessantly, patient. She woke up on her own. Ah. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. The previous second. Isn't it that the child is still being rescued? When everyone was wondering. On the hospital bed. Nini suddenly looked at Lin Mo quietly. In Lin Mo's heart. Suddenly tremble. In her gaze, Nini's pure and flawless gaze met Lin Mo directly. Like a century. Baba. Nini bit her teeth as if she had put in a lot of effort, trying to open her mouth. For a long time. Baba. Don't cry. Nini's eyes were watery, trying hard to reach out her little hand. Boom. Like a bolt from the blue. Professor Zhang Xiaoyang and other doctors and nurses, collectively petrochemical. Lin Mo remained stunned. A series of tears silently slid down his face, without any sound of crying, just letting the tears flow down continuously. Nini, speak up. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Add update rules and calculate first day data. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The new book sets sail, and you are in urgent need of the support of old Thai. Don't worry about the quality. For old authors and new books on the heavenly list will contribute exciting storylines to everyone. Expectation, excitement, daily life, everything you want to see. Please kindly support all readers. Wishing all the fans who voted to become the richest. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 watch. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 watch. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 watch. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 watch. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 watch. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 watch. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Add update rules. 500 flowers and 1 watch. 3-month ticket plus 1 change. 200 evaluation votes plus 1 change. 2 dozen rewards and 1 change. 30 book review sections with 1 update. The new book sets sail and urgently needs your support. Wishing everyone to become the wealthiest, wealthy, and talented. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 5. Her illness is improving. This is a miracle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Baba. Don't cry. Nini used all her strength and stuttered through these 2 words. Little hands made an effort to explore forward. After finally touching Lin Mo's stubble-covered face, Nini giggled and let out a crisp, silver bell-like laughter. Around. Professor Zhang Xiaoyang, other attending doctors, and even nurses, all widened their eyes and collectively petrified. Lin Mo in the field shed silent tears. Nini is speaking. Although it's just 2 words, 4 words. But the meaning represented by this sentence made Lin Mo burst into tears of joy. Waiting for almost 5 years. I finally waited for my daughter to speak. Next to it. Qin Dong looked at the dull expressions on everyone's faces and said with a hint of confusion, "What's wrong with you all?" Professor Zhang Xiaoyang took a deep breath and was so shocked that his eyeballs were about to fall off. "Did you hear me?" The child spoke up. "I heard it." Qin Dong breathed a sigh and said, "The child will wake up fine, but why are you all looking so stunned? Isn't it normal to talk? You don't understand. Zhang Xiaoyang trembled and said, "This child has neurodegenerative disease type 6, and the biggest symptom is that he cannot speak and has a serious autistic personality. I just found the child's medical records. She has come to the hospital several times and clearly recorded that the child is almost 5 years old and still unable to speak." Speaking of this, Professor Zhang became even more excited. And just now, the child spoke, although it was only 4 words, it had logic. This also indicates that at that moment, the child has developed independent consciousness and thinking. She sensed the emotions of her family and comforted her father. This is simply a miracle. If it weren't for witnessing it firsthand, Professor Zhang won't believe anything he says. After listening to these explanations, Qin Dong also widened his eyes. After a while, he was surprised and said, Isn't that just saying?" He came up with a shocking truth. But how could an ordinary person be? The medicine he concocted may be useful. Professor Zhang's eyes lit up to the extreme, and he took a few deep breaths before trembling. Of course, it could also be a coincidence. But now, according to our examination, there is no discomfort after the child wakes up. Next, just observe in the hospital for 2 to 3 days and get some glucose. As he spoke, he turned his head to Qin Dong and said, "What would you do to your child's father?" Qin Dong hesitated for a moment and glanced at Lin Mo and the child. At this point, Lin Mo hugged Nini tightly, and the silent tears finally couldn't stop the excitement, turning into a series of wails. He suppressed it for too long. Waiting for too long. When I heard Nini's 4 words, "Baba, don't cry." At this moment, all Lin Mo's emotions erupted. To be honest, it's the first time I've encountered such a case in 20 years of police service. Qin Dong gave a bitter smile and said, "Researching drugs on his own and using them for children is simply." He shook his head and couldn't find any words to describe it. In my heart, I also empathized with the scene of Lin Mo crying bitterly while holding the child, and almost burst into tears. After all, he also has children. COSY gene deficiency is an incurable disease with no cure. Professor Zhang helped his glasses and said, "Anyway, don't scare the child." "Of course." Qin Dong nodded. Half an hour later, Lin Mo's mother, who received the notification, rushed to the hospital in a hurry. Seeing his son wearing handcuffs, the old man shed tears. "Officer, my son is a good person. He just wanted to save Nini." Lin's mother cried and kept explaining. "Mom, I'm fine." At Qin Dong's signal, Lin Mo walked up and gritted his teeth, saying, "Mom, help me take care of Nini. Don't worry, I'll be out soon." After speaking, Lin Mo walked over to Nini again. Nini will be half lying in bed, holding a doll, and returning to her former appearance. "Nini, be good." Lin Mo forced a smile and rubbed his daughter's pink little face, saying, "When we go home, Dad will make you something delicious." "Say it." Standing up and walking to Qin Dong's side, Lin Mo regained his composure and said, "Officer, let's go." 10 minutes later. Changning Bureau, an interrogation room. Qin Dong poured Lin Mo a cup of hot tea and gestured for him to take a few sips. Lin Motsai was surprised to find his lips dry and cracked. He nodded to thank the other person and took a sip of hot tea, feeling as if everyone had come to life. "Tell me, what have you done?" Qin Dong took out paper and pen. Lin Mo nodded and calmly recounted. "COSY is a terminal illness with no cure. In order to treat my child's illness, I built my own laboratory and started researching related drugs." As Lin Mo spoke, several colleagues participating in the interrogation in the room widened their eyes one after another. "Wait, what is your educational background and major?" Qin Dong became more and more frightened as he listened, and couldn't help but ask. "I only graduated from high school." Dot. Upon hearing this, everyone was speechless. 2. Exaggerated, right? Xiao Li glanced at Qin Dong and said, Qin Gu, this Lin Mo is simply a genius. There was a layer of mist in his eyes. Qin Gu, he's too difficult. Qin Dong listened and sighed in his heart. However, Lin Mo continued calmly, I spent several months identifying the breakthrough point for the COSY gene defect. From ordinary synthesis of CoA, to the development of evolutionary CoA, and finally to super CoA, I went through a total of 128 experiments. Of course, please rest assured. I sterilized the laboratory according to the requirements of the pharmacopoeia, using medicinal-grade raw materials and verifying sterility through TSA inoculation. And strictly speaking, the super coenzyme A I made belongs to only one medicinal compound and does not violate relevant laws. Speaking of which, Lin Mo gritted his teeth and glanced at Qin Dong, saying, according to relevant regulations, you can detain me for at most 48 hours. He can't have any trouble. Otherwise, who will take care of Nini? And the experiment must continue. Today Nini spoke up, a logical sentence representing super CoA, and the effect it had on Nini was astonishing. This represents one's own research direction, there's nothing wrong. Super CoA is indeed effective for Nini. You. Dare you, you were already prepared. Qin Dong burst into laughter upon hearing this. At the same time, the indescribable taste in my heart is more of a shock. Looking at the written confession that had been recorded for several pages, Qin Dong felt his scalp explode. He asked so many prisoners. No one can shock, tremble, or even respect Lin Mo. Yes. At this moment. Setting aside his own identity, Qin Dong only saw a father's deep love for his daughter from these recorded Q.A. The emotion of blood dissolving in water. Let Qin Dong be moved. Take a deep breath. Take a glance at your colleagues. Qin Dong and several others stood up at the same time, suddenly standing at attention with a loud snap and paying their respects. Then, without saying a word, he turned around and walked out of the interrogation room. Report this shocking incident to the senior management. At the same time. City First Hospital. Many neurosurgeons were shocked upon hearing this news. A patient's family member made homemade medication to take for their sick daughter. NB, COSY subtype. This is a helpless problem in the international medical community. Is this really the case? A patient with neurodegenerative diseases opened their mouth and spoke. For a while. Many people felt numb in their brains and immediately approached Professor Zhang Xiaoyang, even personally visiting Nini's ward. Zhang Xiaoyang received wave after wave of phone calls. Even though his mouth was dry, he couldn't resist his shocking emotions at this moment. It's true, I saw it with my own eyes. We just checked again and the patient's brain nerve response has significantly improved compared to before. The patient's eyes can track things, and they have broken through their previous symptoms, which is also a great improvement. I can only say that this child's illness is improving. Yes, it's really the father of the child who developed a bottle of medicine himself, without any production batch number. What kind of super coenzyme A does it sound like? Speaking of which. Professor Zhang Xiaoyang's eyes suddenly lit up. By the way. That bottle just now, the injection sent to the pharmacological analysis room. Zhang Xiaoyang quickly called the analysis room. But he heard a surprising news. What super coenzyme A injection? No, we haven't received any relevant test materials or notifications in our pharmacological analysis room. The other party replied with a bewildered expression on their face. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 6. Going to Lin Mo's home, everyone shocked. You are listening at novel full.audio. That's strange. Professor Zhang hung up the phone and personally went to the analysis room. He also asked a few young nurses about it. The result was that the bottle of medicine was not found. It's okay. Zhang Xiaoyang purred and had no choice but to give up. Then I went to Nini's ward. Looking at Lin Mo who was feeding Nini, Nini's eyes twitched noticeably, and Zhang Xiaoyang quietly stepped out. Is there really a cure for this terminal illness? Or is it an ordinary person who developed it on their own? He murmured to himself. His expression was slightly melancholic. Perhaps it's just a coincidence. After all, the terminal illness of this genetic defect is too difficult to study, and many experts and professors are helpless. That Lin Mo. I just hope this matter won't have any impact on him. After all, it's all driven by life. On the other end, Qin Dong reported this case to the leadership. Are you sure you're not fooling me? As he had anticipated, the old leader was stunned after listening. Following my interest, I carefully flipped through a dozen or so pages of transcripts, and after a long while, I let out a long sigh. Being a parent is not easy in any way. Following it is extremely shocking. Next, it's time to collect evidence. Qin Dong solemnly said, I have checked relevant regulations, and if we estimate based on medicinal compounds, then Lin Mo has not engaged in any illegal activities. The medicine he developed himself is also for his daughter to take, and he himself bears this responsibility. Upon hearing this, the old leader waved his hand and said, Go ahead and collect evidence as soon as possible to reunite their father and daughter. Wait a moment. The old leader suddenly thought of something and said, I'll have someone professional come with you. Half an hour later, Qin Dong drove to the Huaya Institute of Biology located in Yangpu District and met a graceful girl. Qin team, hello. After Shen Nanshu got into the car, she smiled gently and said, I happen to have nothing to do this afternoon. The leader asked me to cooperate with your work. Expert Shen, please. Colleague driving, Qin Dong sat in the passenger seat, smiling and thanking. By the way, Qin team, could you please talk to me about specific matters? Shen Nanshu asked curiously. After all, she can understand catching bad people, but it's a bit difficult to understand how her professional knowledge needs to be utilized in the case. Is it a geneticist who used some genetic means to kill someone? Shen Nanshu was secretly excited when she remembered the plot on TV. Upon hearing this, Qin Dong sighed and said, To be honest, it's the first time I've encountered such a case. Speaking of which, Qin Dong became interested and asked, Expert Shen, I heard that you graduated from Harvard University at the age of only 26, and obtained the dual bachelor's degrees in molecular biology and genetics. That's amazing. Where? Shen Nanshu smiled humbly. Expert Shen, do you think a high school student can master genetics, and even biopharmaceuticals, through self-study? This question. Upon hearing this, Shen Nanshu frowned and said, It's very difficult, because genetics is too complicated, too difficult. Of course, it cannot be ruled out that there are such people. It can be said that there are indeed such people, and they are definitely geniuses. Hey! Qin Dong let out a long sigh and said, I ran into it today. Ah! Shen Nanshu's interest suddenly increased. The situation is like this. As Qin Dong spoke, Shen Nanshu's face suddenly changed, and her graceful figure trembled violently before a hint of shock quietly appeared. COSY subtype diseases. Homemade therapeutic drugs. Is it? A few seconds later, Shen Nanshu was shocked to hear Lin Mo's name. It's really him. At this moment, Shen Nanshu's beautiful eyes were wide and round, with mixed emotions. 16 minutes later. The police car is parked at the entrance of Lin Mo's rented house. This is the place Lin Mo rented, and according to his own instructions, he built a laboratory in the room, Qin Dong said solemnly. Soon after contacting the homeowner, Qin Dong, his colleagues, and Shen Nanxiu slowly walked into the courtyard. On the left is the room where he and his daughter live, and on the right is the laboratory. Quickly, relevant personnel entered the laboratory built by Lin Mo to conduct evidence collection work. At first glance, after everyone entered the laboratory, they were completely shocked. Sleeping trough, is this a laboratory created by someone with only a high school education? Police officer Xiao Li went in and glanced around, feeling confused. The room is clean and tidy. Various related instruments are tightly arranged inside the house, including a clean workbench, electron microscope, low-temperature box, pharmaceutical raw material storage cabinet, and various formulation equipment. Well, he invested quite a bit, at least a few $100,000. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. Shen Nanxiu lightly bit her lips and walked in. At first glance, I saw zebrafish swimming in the yard storage pool. And in the laboratory, various dilapidated second-hand testing instruments have greatly changed Shen Nanxiu's complexion. That's amazing. My goodness, this Lin Mo is simply a monster. Look at the notes on his workbench, he has written a whole dozen or so books, densely packed with experimental records. Oh my God, I checked the bacterial content in the air and the results showed that before we entered, the room was a sterile space, completely at the level of scientific research experiments. How did he do it? Sleeping slot, this is really a tough guy. You can do this with a high school education, it's amazing. Everyone was amazed while collecting evidence. An indescribable shock in my heart. Expert Shen, what do you think? Qin Dong's gaze turned to Shen Nanxiu. Half an hour later, Shen Nanxiu's expression was complex, and she trembled as she said, Lin Mo, it is indeed here that medicinal compounds have been synthesized. This super coenzyme currently appears to have a certain remedial effect on COSY gene defects. There are no violations in the laboratory, let alone violations of the regulations of the Drug Administration and Pharmacopoeia. Shen Nanxiu glanced at the dense experimental records. For a long time, she only felt a tug in her heart. It seems like I saw it. Countless days and nights, Lin Mo tirelessly conducted experiments. How did he do it? How did he persist? At this moment, Shen Nanxiu felt a lot of pain in her heart. The man who has only had a few connections, makes her mood ripple. Miracle. Qin Dong glanced around. My eyes are a bit moist. As a father, I just want to say, this Lin Mo is a real man. Qin Dong said solemnly. Alright, team up. Qin Dong sternly glanced at his colleague and solemnly instructed, put all instruments and objects back in their original positions. After everyone leaves the laboratory, colleague Xiao Li walked over and gritted his teeth, saying, Qin team, what should we say about this case? What do everyone think? Qin Dong glanced at everyone. I didn't say anything, let go. Everyone spoke in unison and exclaimed excitedly, this is what men should do. In order to save their daughter's life, if I had the ability, I would definitely do the same. This is the power of fatherly love, forcing a father with only a high school education to take risks and make his own life-saving medicine. Qin Dong murmured and looked at Shen Nanxiu, Shen expert, do you also agree that this super coenzyme A belongs to a medicinal compound? Of course. Shen Nanxiu nodded heavily. Okay. Qin Dong burst out laughing and shed tears, saying, since it's not illegal drugs, then we have nothing to do. Brothers, go back and let go. Qin Dong waved his hand. 1 hour later. At 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Lin Mo suppressed his excitement and walked out of the law enforcement unit. He was a bit confused. More importantly, it is moving. Because he was holding a stack of red envelopes containing 100, 200, and 500, all of which were forcibly handed to him by Officer Qin and others. It's said to be for buying food for Nini. But how could Lin Mo not know? This is everyone's heartfelt expression. Lin Mo. In the distance, a girl's joyful voice rang out. Lin Mo's expression froze for a moment. He saw a graceful girl. That girl named Shen Nanshu. The other party was wearing a tender yellow velvet knee-length skirt, draped over a pink-white shawl jacket, and standing elegantly in front of a Buick with a smile. Lin Mo. Shen Nanshu exclaimed excitedly to Lin Mo, "I'll take you back to the hospital and see Nini." At the same time. Xuantong Ninghai Network. A pop.up news has been sent to all netizens. He's not the god of medicine, he's just a father Nini. Seeking flowers, seeking monthly tickets, seeking evaluation tickets, giving rewards. All data. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 7. He is not the god of medicine, he is just a father. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Many people see this title. They are all stunned for one thing. Subconsciously clicking in, the news is not long, only less than 1,000 words, and there are also a few photos. But everyone. After reading carefully, I couldn't help but feel my eyes moist. I just feel that there is an emotion accumulating in my chest, I don't know how to vent it. Ning Saifu is a female white-collar worker from Ninghai. After dealing with the customer's issue, she was about to turn off the computer. Suddenly, a pop.up news caught her attention. He's not the god of medicine, he's just a father first. Let me ask a question. When a man's child is diagnosed with a genetic defect, it is an incurable disease that can degenerate into a vegetative state and even die as they age. Can't it be cured, and there's no medicine? What will he do? For ordinary people, there seems to be no solution at all. But there was a father who really encountered this, and his answer was: never give up. Even experts are at a loss for a genetic cure. But this father chose to race against death with his child. Someone said. For his daughter, this is a very irresponsible behavior, putting all bets on it. Some people also say. He is moving himself and allowing sick children to survive, which is the true cruelty to children. But for the author, this is a heavy fatherly love. The importance of fatherly love is comparable to mountains. Next, please be calm and listen to a story belonging to a little girl named Nini. See the end of the news. Ning Saifu's eyes turned red and she was so excited that she covered her mouth, making no sound. Because in the news, the man who chose to take risks and develop his own medicine for his daughter is her high school classmate, Lin Mo. And at this moment, more and more people are seeing this news. Tearful eyes, father's love is great. Are you taking the risk to develop your own antidote, or are you watching your daughter die? I think I already have an answer in my heart. This is an experiment about life. A father with only a high school education, in order to save his daughter, is forced by life to become Superman. Watching me with tears in my eyes, I empathize with this kind of father. Please give me a fight. Lin Mo, this old father, is almost a demon. He has a high school degree. He face all the academic elites, experts. I have goosebumps all over my body. Lin Mo's love for his daughter makes me tremble. He's not the god of medicine, he's just a father. Pharmaceutical companies are unscrupulous. This rare disease has little profit and no one is willing to study it. It's just that those rare disease patients and their families have suffered. We hope our country can continue to increase support in this regard. Modern people, getting sick is really too difficult. The hemp rope is carefully cut in every corner. May the world be free from disease and pain again. Short world. This news has attracted tens of thousands of comments from netizens. At this moment, the headquarters of Xuantang Network in Ninghai. The news editor-in-chief looked excitedly at journalist Huang Ye and said happily, "Xiao Huang, you did a great job this time. This news is very exciting, it will definitely go viral." Seeing the leader happy, Huang Ye also exclaimed excitedly, "Yes, I couldn't have imagined that I went to the hospital due to a small cold and received such an amazing revelation. Leader, I plan to continue tracking and reporting on Lin Mo and her daughter." The news editor pondered for a moment and smiled. "Why, do you really think that this Lin Mo can develop a therapeutic drug?" "Of course not." Huang Ye shook her head and said with a bitter smile, "Although I sympathize with their father and daughter, how could an ordinary person conquer this genetic disease? Successfully researched an antidote. Yeah, it's too difficult. But since netizens are interested, please continue to follow this matter." On the other side, Lin Mo had no idea that he had already become popular online. Buick interior. Lin Mo is sitting in the passenger seat. Shen Nanshu gave a brief explanation of what happened in the afternoon, then trembled and said, "Lin Mo, don't you regret it?" "For a long time." He said, "The reason why people are human is because there are emotional bonds beyond reason. Nini is my daughter, the world has given up on her, only I can't." Shen Nanshu's heart was shaken. If it weren't for Lin Mo, she would have covered her face and wept. After arriving at the hospital and getting off the car, Lin Mo glanced at Shen Nanshu and said, "Miss Shen, thank you." "No, you're welcome." Shen Nanshu lightly bit her mouth and pleaded, "Can I go and see Nini?" Lin Mo nodded. When passing by the hospital square, Lin Mo saw someone selling flowers. He walked over and picked a phoenix tail orchid. "This is the phoenix tail orchid, the flower language represents hope, never give up." The flower vendor smiled gently. "Thank you." Lin Mo paid well and took this phoenix tail orchid. In my mind, remembering the scene where Nini looked at herself and stuttered, "Baba doesn't cry." Lin Mo choked up. Whispering softly, looking forward to the coming year, my daughter will have just grown up. With such a thing, the pavilion will be like a building. Shen Nanshu's beautiful eyes widened slightly. This scene. Forever unforgettable. A few minutes later, Lin Mo returned to the ward and met Nini. The mother cried out loud and walked over to embrace her son. Lin Mo's nose is sore. As a father, it is not easy to solve oil and salt problems. Now, I only hope for my parents to live a long life. Mom, I'm fine. Lin Mo softly wiped away his mother's tears and then pointed at Shen Nanshu, saying, "Her name is Shen Nanshu. My friend." After a pause, Lin Mo turned around and looked straight at Nini. Nini is playing with her phone, of course, she doesn't understand anything. Just randomly pressing everywhere. But it seems quite enjoyable, giggling non-stop. "Hello Auntie." Shen Nanshu and Lin Mo greeted each other and turned their gaze to Nini. It is also infinite tenderness. "Nini, be good, Dad hug you." Next second. Under Shen Nanshu's shocked gaze, Nini's dull gaze seemed to receive an emotional transmission, quietly turning and staring at Lin Mo for a second. Cluck cluck. Nini smiled happily and opened her hands. Shen Nanshu suddenly covered her mouth and looked at the scene with surprise. 10 minutes later. Outside the ward. Shen Nanshu excitedly said, "Lin Mo, what have you really done?" As a pharmaceutical expert in the field of genetics, Shen Nanshu knows better than anyone the research difficulty of NBIA, which is a neurodegenerative disease. "I have been to your laboratory and know that you are a breakthrough point for coenzyme A, but this. How could this be possible?" Shen Nanshu was extremely shocked. "My journey has just begun." Lin Mo calmly said, "Through my research on zebrafish, I have found that the lack of coenzyme A seriously affects the development of zebrafish. Mutations in human ACSL4 homologs are associated with X-linked intelligence, which in turn affects the BMP signaling pathway. I also discovered lipid metabolism disorders, including LC.PUFA and membrane homeostasis, which may be one of the limited consequences of CoA deficiency and a common feature of many neurodegenerative diseases. In addition, by altering phospholipid and sphingolipid metabolism, membrane remodeling, and mitochondrial morphology and function, further research on the possible connections between lipid metabolism disorders and BMP signaling cascades may provide relevant insights into the pathogenesis of these diseases and specific neuronal involvement. Oh my goodness! When she heard Lin Mo's last sentence, Shen Nanshu widened her eyes. Heartbroken. How did he know that our expert research group's latest conclusion on NBIA genetic disorders? Lin Mo didn't notice Shen Nanshu's shock and continued. But no matter what, I will continue to study. His gaze. Clear yet firm. Shen Nanshu wanted to say something, but didn't know where to start. Finally gritted his teeth and said, Lin Mo. I will immediately plead with the leaders of the Research Institute and ask them to agree to your use of the equipment in Huaya Biological Gene Laboratory. Maybe you can really create a miracle. Come on, Lin Mo. Say it. Shen Nanshu waved her hand and smiled, then solemnly bid farewell and left. First time. Shen Nanshu returned to the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics and barged straight into the dean's office. Dean, I have discovered a talent. Oh no, it's a genius. Shen Nanshu exclaimed excitedly. After she excitedly recounted Lin Mo's story. Mo Hao, Dean of Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics, smiled slightly and clicked on Xuantong to search for relevant information. A few minutes later. Mo Hao shook his head and said calmly, Xiao Shen, you've made a big deal out of a molehill. How vast and difficult to understand is genetic engineering? How could an ordinary person with only a high school education find a breakthrough in genetic defects and even develop so-called therapeutic drugs? I have read the news, and the girl who got COSY6 may have just happened to speak up. After all, previous cases have also proven that there are some patients who can distinguish between relatives and strangers. All right. Seeing Shen Nanshu's beautiful eyes wide open, I want to explain something more. Mo Hao waved his hand solemnly and said, your group has been busy with tasks lately. Go ahead and get busy. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 8. I've made all the medicines myself, and acupuncture and moxibustion must also be. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Shen Nanshu walked out of the dean's office unwillingly. Feeling helpless, I didn't know how to explain to Lin Mo. After all, she just had a confident expression, but now she has been rejected. And Shen Nanshu knows very well. If supported by the Huaya Institute of Biological Genetics, the process of Lin Mo's self-developed medicinal compounds would undoubtedly be much smoother. More advanced and precise instruments. Expert professor-level assistance. A better research channel. But now the dean doesn't believe in Lin Mo. Hey! With a sigh, Shen Nanshu gritted her teeth and made a phone call to her mentor, Dong Bichang, who is also an academician of the Chinese Academy of Sciences and a biogenologist from China. Hello teacher. After greeting, Shen Nanshu went straight to the topic and recounted Lin Mo's self-developed medication. Beijing. Dong Bichang is chatting with friends in the study. Upon receiving a call from his disciple, he smiled slightly and showed satisfaction. Shen Nanshu is his disciple who closes the door. He had high expectations for it. But what Nan Su said later surprised Dong Bichang. Do you really have this extraordinary person? Dong Bichang pondered for a moment and exclaimed with excitement, through an intravenous infusion method of 11 times a month, the patient is injected with a medicinal compound called super-CoA. Is the condition slightly better? And the researcher of this compound is an ordinary person with only a high school education. When I heard later that Lin Mo, in order to save his daughter, had self-taught and risked his life to make homemade drugs. Dong Bichang fell silent. Poor parents' hearts all over the world. He let out a long sigh. Dong Bichang regained his composure and said sternly, "Do you have any reagents for compounds?" "Well, in 5 days, I will fly to Ninghai and personally meet this young man." "Okay, teacher." Shen Nanshu was overjoyed. If Lin Mo can get the teacher's appreciation, then all the problems will not be problems. What? Making homemade potions is illegal. Academician Dong Bichang, a senior talent receiving national special allowance, I asked someone to help me research something. What's wrong? The next day. The first hospital of Ninghai City. Lin Mojing stood on the side, watching Professor Zhang perform the final examination for Nini. Nini appeared very quiet. However, her gaze had already begun to show signs of eye contact with Lin Mo. Although it may only be 1 second, 2 seconds. But it's enough for Lin Mo's heart to bloom. So far, there are no issues. Zhang Xiaoyang exclaimed, "The child's physical signs are very good." After speaking, looking at Lin Mo, his face couldn't help but praise and shock. "Mr. Lin, you are the most hardcore father I have ever seen. To be honest, I would like to ask you how it was done." Lin Mo's expression was calm, but he humbly shook his head and said, "I just mustered the courage to take the first step. It's already very precious." Zhang Xiaoyang sighed. Then he took out a set of silver needles, and Zhang Xiaoyang said with a smile, "I will give the child acupuncture and moxibustion to stimulate the lower brain nerves, which may have some effect on the child's recovery." "Thank you, Professor Zhang." Lin Mo's complexion is unparalleled. He knew that Zhang Xiaoyang was the chief physician of the first hospital and also a specially appointed professor at the University of Medical Sciences, with extraordinary medical skills. What he is best at is the combination of Chinese and Western medicine. Immediately, Zhang Xiaoyang began to give Nini acupuncture and moxibustion. "Nini, be good." Seeing Nini's resistance, Lin Mo quickly comforted her daughter. "Take out a candy and stuff it into Nini's mouth." Nini chuckled and then became quiet. Soon, more than 10 silver needles were inserted into Nini's little head. It looks quite scary. But in recent years, Lin Mo has taken Nini everywhere for medical treatment. Acupuncture and moxibustion is just the most common method. Although COSY gene deficiency is a theory discovered and proposed by modern medicine, in reality, the traditional Chinese medicine left by our ancestors is also quite extraordinary. Zhang Xiaoyang sighed. In ancient Chinese medicine, the signs of illness in newborns were referred to as mental fatigue, loss of soul syndrome, separation of spirit syndrome, and so on. Although some mystics believe that a child's 3 souls and 7 souls are missing 1 soul and 1 soul, resulting in mental depression, spleen damage due to contemplation, difficulty in enlightenment, and children's silence. Relevant traditional Chinese medicine can be used as a treatment, but more often, acupuncture and moxibustion is used to treat patients. As Zhang Xiaoyang spoke, he sighed, "If someone can combine traditional Chinese medicine with modern Western medicine, it may have a significant impact on the development of drugs for neurodegenerative diseases." The speaker has no intention. The listener is interested. Lin Mo's heart was shaken. For the past 6 months, he has been focusing on Western medical methods, but currently, it seems that I have indeed overlooked traditional Chinese medicine therapy. The ancient Chinese medicine has a long and rich history. Although the probability of suffering from neurodegenerative diseases is very low, in ancient times, did no baby suffer from such diseases? Did ancient Chinese medicine not have any research at that time? Lin Mo thinks otherwise. It seems that in the future, I should also allocate some of my energy in study traditional Chinese medicine well. Lin Mo sighed. What a good doctor after a long illness. Besides, this acupuncture and moxibustion. Lin Mo's heart twitched. Looking up at Professor Zhang Xiaoyang, he said seriously, Professor, can you teach me acupuncture and moxibustion? If you learn acupuncture and moxibustion, you can give Nini auxiliary treatment at home, which saves you money and time to travel back and forth. Give Lin Mo more time to study drugs for Nini. Ah! Upon hearing this, Zhang Xiaoyang was taken aback. Then he couldn't help laughing and crying. You guy! You set up a laboratory by yourself. I don't want to say anything about the synthesis of pharmaceutical-grade compounds. Now you want to learn acupuncture and moxibustion. Do you know how difficult it is to learn acupuncture and moxibustion? It's not the kind of quack in the market, or the so-called healthcare worker who takes a few needles and pricks them twice at random to promote blood circulation. I haven't finished speaking yet. Lin Mo suddenly pointed at Nini and said seriously, Professor, the direction you just injected was from here to here, and then to here. By the way, the first shot, when the needle falls, your right wrist trembles slightly and the needle enters your body, about 0.9 centimeters. The second shot, you place the shot at this position, and the depth of the shot is about 1.2 centimeters. The third shot. Listening to Lin Mo being so careful, he thoroughly reviewed the details of his own needle application. Zhang Xiaoyang suddenly felt a tingling sensation on his scalp. Suddenly looking up, he exclaimed in shock, is there really a genius in this world? Genius. Lin Mo smiled bitterly and said, I just want Nini to survive. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 9. One day, Nini will put on a dress. You are listening at novel.Audio. Zhang Xiaoyang finally taught Lin Mo acupuncture and moxibustion. From a doctor's perspective, he does not approve of the patient's family doing these things. But Lin Mo is an exception. People have even studied the therapeutic drugs themselves. Although acupuncture and moxibustion is difficult, it is also difficult. Sure enough. Half an hour later. Lin Mo has been able to perform acupuncture and moxibustion, and only needs more practice. What a genius! Professor Zhang was filled with emotion, his eyes blazing hot, but unfortunately. If it weren't for Lin Mo's age and the situation, he would have wanted to persuade him to study medicine. With his abilities, he can definitely become a famous doctor. Professor Zhang, thank you very much. Lin Mo thanked and escorted Zhang Xiaoyang out of the ward. By the way. Before leaving, Zhang Xiaoyang remembered something and apologized, didn't you bring a bottle of reagent yesterday? I had someone take it to the pharmacological analysis room, but strangely enough, I searched the entire hospital but couldn't find the bottle of medicine. It's okay. Without much thought, Lin Mo casually said, my family has prepared a lot in advance, which is enough for Nini to use for a period of time. You. Really? Professor Zhang doesn't know what to say more. After a moment of contemplation, he spoke, if your research has further development and can accurately present various arguments, perhaps this reagent can appear in the form of hospital preparations. In hospital preparations? Lin Mo exclaimed in confusion. After all, he is not a medical major, and the knowledge he has acquired in the past 6 months is mostly related to neurodegenerative diseases and genomics. Zhang Xiaoyang smiled and explained, hospital preparations are preparations developed and used within the hospital, and can only be used in our hospital. At that time, you can cooperate with our hospital and sell it on the market, which can also help you with some household expenses. However, Zhang Xiaoyang smiled bitterly and said, after all, there are too few patients with this disease, so there is not much profit. I understand. Lin Mo nodded and watched as the other person left. Return to the ward. Nini was holding a music box and smiling. She really likes this music box, which plays Richard Clayderman's piano-like music series, whenever the melodious music sounds. Nini's thoughts seemed to fly towards the blue sky, countryside, and big forest. This is Nini, so beautiful. A little nurse passed by and saw Nini with a friendly smile. Lin Mo smiled slightly. Nini, there are so many big sisters and brothers who like you, you must work hard. Lin Mo murmured to herself. He now knows that he and Nini have become popular online. In just one day, a large number of gifts were mailed to the first hospital of Ninghai City, specifically stating that they were for Nini, and that music box was a gift from a netizen's sister. And the hospital was afraid that the father and daughter would be affected, so they specially prepared a separate ward for them. But even so, today, many enthusiastic netizens rushed to the hospital to comfort Nini and see this legendary, silent angel. Of course, many people are also interested in Lin Mo. After all, how many can there be such a hardcore father who takes risks to save his child and makes homemade medicine? Nini gradually fell asleep while listening to the music. Lin Mo laid the child flat on the bed. After she fell asleep peacefully, Lin Mo finally had time to take out his phone. A pile of information. Lin Mo, you're so amazing. Lin Mo, are you really building your own experiment and making your own medicine? How is the child doing now? Old classmate, if you need any help, please speak up and don't be polite. His family, friends, and former colleagues sent him messages to express their greetings. Additionally, there are some unfamiliar text messages. Most media reporters, and I don't know where to get his contact information, hoping to interview him and his child. Regarding this, Lin Mo naturally ignored it. Then click on the internet and search for relevant information. Gradually, Lin Mo's eyes were slightly moist. He saw many netizens greeting him with kindness. Many netizens immediately expressed their willingness to donate money to Nini and help her child treat her illness. Under the eye, Lin Mo has no such ideas. He won't accept donations from netizens because he has hands and feet, and when he runs out of money, he will earn it himself. He is a self-reliant person, otherwise he wouldn't have taken the step of making homemade drugs to treat children's illnesses. But I really don't have much money left. Lin Mo murmured to himself. Previously, I spent hundreds of thousands on building a laboratory, purchasing various instruments and equipment, and medicinal raw materials. In addition, with this hospitalization, although the hospital has also provided some reduction, it is definitely worth several thousand yuan. And subsequent experiments. The experimental zebrafish is fine. The crab-eating macaques used for research are really too expensive. A laboratory monkey costs 70,000 to 80,000 yuan and can only be purchased through human connections. It's not a solution to just leave and not enter. Lin Mo pondered, wondering if there was any way to make money quickly. 2 days later, Nini is officially discharged from the hospital. Lin Mo completed the discharge procedures and did not disturb anyone. He walked out of the hospital holding Nini in one hand and a suitcase in the other. Just looking at Shen Nanshu in front of him, Lin Mo was stunned. Get in the car. Shen Nanshu gave a refreshing smile. After a moment of hesitation, Lin Mo hugged Nini and sat in the Buick car that Shen Nanshu had driven over. Wow, Nini looks really good. Shen Nanshu first took a sip of Nini and smelled the milk fragrance on her body, so she couldn't help but love it. How did you know that Nini and I were discharged from the hospital? Lin Mo asked. I called Professor Zhang to ask. Shen Nanshu smiled and said. It's inconvenient for you to take the child with you. Besides, I happen to be free today. Besides, I have something else to talk to you about. Shen Nanshu said solemnly. Okay, go back and talk. Lin Mo nodded. While driving, Shen Nanshu secretly scrutinized Lin Mo. It seems I haven't seen him smile yet. Shen Nanshu murmured in her heart. A few minutes later. When the car reached a commercial street intersection, Lin Mo suddenly spoke up and said, "Is it convenient? Stop the car and I'll buy something for Nini on the way." Of course. Shen Nanshu nodded elegantly. After parking the car, Shen Nanshu volunteered and picked up Nini with both hands. Nini didn't resist this beautiful big sister either. Smelling the fragrance emanating from Shen Nanshu's delicate hair, Nini giggled non-stop. "The child really likes you." Lin Mo finally gave a gentle smile. Then the two walked to the commercial street, and Lin Mo's hun bought some clothes for Nini. At this moment, Nini suddenly struggled twice in Shen Nanshu's arms, staring straight ahead at the shop, a shimmering glass wall. Evening. Nini tried her best to express herself as if she wanted to express something. "Nini, be good." Lin Mo understands his daughter the best and gestured for Shen Nanshu to let go of her child. "That's." Shen Nanshu instinctively let go of Nini. Nini's dark big eyes blinked a few times and seemed extremely happy as she ran up to the crystal glass wall, staring straight at a beautiful dress. Lin Mo raised his eyes. This is an institution that teaches children ballet. And Nini, staring straight at the glass display wall, hung a beautiful ballet dress with crystal chips. Her eyes seemed to refract light. Shen Nanshu instantly covered her mouth and a layer of mist covered her eyes. Lin Mo was equally excited. "That's it." Nini looked at the beautiful dress. "I watched it for a long time. For a long time." And Lin Mo and Shen Nanshu were quietly by Nini's side. Take a glance at each other. I understood the other person's thoughts. There will be such a day. Nini put on a beautiful dress. Dancing gracefully. P.S. Yesterday at 8 o'clock. Continue today. Seeking flowers, evaluation tickets, monthly tickets, and rewards. All data. Old irons awesome, I will awesome. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.